You are watching a Fact TV presentation of the town of Swanzey.
All right, to be continued. Thank you. Two more. Yeah.
I'll call the meeting to order. This one goes most sparingly on the people.
Okay, I'll make the motion that we approve the minutes for our regular meeting on February 12th.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Motion to approve the minutes for non-public meeting, February 12th.
Second. Motion made and seconded. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
Anything further, Michael? No. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Public input. Seeing none. Appointments. EDAC Chair Cathy Bergstrom. Hello.
Hello. Thank you.
Hey, Cathy.
So I'm just following up to the letter I sent you all the proposal in January about economic development and the town working to be an advocate for small business. So I did get some positive feedback from some of you and from the chair of the planning board. Say economic development are presently reviewing the site plan review regs in preparation to have a joint meeting with EDAC and the planning board to discuss what currently is and how we might make things better. So we intended both a proposal to help Swanzey be intentional about being a resource for small businesses, maybe like cleaner guidelines on the website, contact info for personnel, make the site plan review process more business friendly. And I want to stress that this is not an indictment of any staff or process currently in place in Swanzey, just an opportunity to make things better when we see it. So, it's like any relationship. It could be good, but there's always opportunity to make it better. So what I'm looking for is support from website for this initiative. Do you have any questions?
What do you envision this being if you had, your way? What did you see kind of happening with this? Do you see personnel involved, or just
Quite
website?
possibly, yeah, quite possibly the personnel involved. And also looking at the websites. I have designed websites in the past, and statistics show that a person will click on something 3 times, and if they can't find what they're looking for, they leave. So putting that in mind, I went to the town website and thought, okay, if I'm a small business owner wanting to do this, and after 5 tries, I still couldn't find what I was looking for. So for me, that's a problem. So streamlining that kind of thing, making it easier and more intuitive for people, accountability for.
So do you think we could have a group of volunteers or something that could help people, kind of guide them through the process?
That would be great.
What were you looking for?
From you?
No, when you were on the website trying to find what a typical business owner would be, or a startup would be looking for. What was it?
What the application process would be. So I searched on a couple keywords. Again, assuming I was just
Do we have any emphasis on economic development on the website?
not our committee. There's not a huge presence for our committees, like planning and economic development, so it's like a bigger umbrella.
So the reason I asked was if I was looking, that's where I would go if I was going on a website to find information. And I'm just wondering, do we on the website have a header for economic development that would, do we have it, number one, and then number two, does it, if we do, does it take it where you think it should go?
It shows up in 2 different places. One, under the header planning and economic development, which brings you to mostly planning. the planning board, and then economic development shows you our minutes and agendas, but there's not anything about like initiatives for economic development. So I think we should do a better job of populating that.
Got my support.
So, yeah. So I can work on that again if I have the support of the board.
You know, one comment that came up a few years ago was highlighting properties available in town on the website. I don't think that ever got off the ground. We just haven't had consistency in the department since Sarah left in 18. Is that something that the committee has discussed recently? And if not, do you think that would be something that would be valuable to?
It has been part of our discussions. Also, I looked at the current business listings, and it is comprehensive, but it's not up to date. So I'd like to take a look at that as well, making that more accurate.
And on a little side, but along the same lines, did you have an opportunity to talk with Sherry Domina and the Conservation Commission with regard to the wetlands ordinances that they put out this year, and maybe working with them collaboratively to bring EDAC's opinion into the mix?
I haven't talked to her about that specific recommendation. I talked with her probably a year ago about working collaboratively with economic development.
Great.
Yeah.
Sorely missing this go around, or at least input.
Yeah.
Was missing. Doesn't necessarily not would have been incorporated, but I don't think it was received. Not that you knew about it, but it's what we got. Michael and I thought it had to do with setbacks or septic. We didn't realize it was as encompassing as it is.
Yeah, I got it probably after it was presented.
Yeah.
Who do you think she could make an initial contact with at the town hall? Trying to get her feet wet with website stuff.
So the website, once we know what we're posting and how we're changing things, it would be probably Katrina, but I think to work on getting the resources that maybe are already on there, but better organized, probably would be Adam, of course, and or Stefan.
Okay, town planners.
I think so.
All in the same room.
That's right. Just close the door and you have them all trapped.
Right.
Do we still require new business owners to come in, not Mike York might know better, but to come in to the planning board first before they move in?
Adam gives us, if he thinks we should hear it, but it depends on the level. If it's, we don't really have multi-tenant anymore, we kind of did away with that. So, yeah, they can come in for a consultation anytime they want, without holding them or the planning board to anything that's set there on the thing. So, all your businesses coming to the town, if they want to check with the planning board first and how we feel about that project, and give them suggestions on how that project can go forward. Some people do that, and we encourage it very much so.
Do we still require, for example, Jeannie's Diner sells, new owner comes in, does that new owner still have to come to the planning board?
Not if it's the
first?
exact same thing.
So that's
If another restaurant goes in there, no, they just got to contact that and let them know what's going on. If it's a different type of retail, possibly.
Yeah, that was multi-tenant.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Yeah, my understanding is because EDAC wrote a letter with regard to that process a couple years ago to help streamline it. My understanding is that the
Right.
planning board still has the option of putting it through site plan review.
Right, we do have the option, but
But it's not automatic.
it's not automatic. That's why they touch base with Adam. Adam looks at it and thinks the planning board needs to look at it and brings it forward to us, and we decide then if we really need to look at that or not.
Planning board still sees it though. Adam doesn't make that decision unilaterally.
No, he'll get a hold of Scott, and we'll look at it real quick, and then we'll vote if we think it's a major change or not. Like if you were gonna, Jeannie's Diner was gonna go up, and you're gonna put in a tire store type of thing, it's a totally different change of business.
Right.
Then we'd have to look at that, because there'd be different things involved in putting that kind of a store in than a restaurant.
So you get 3,000 thumbs up.
3 thumbs up. I'll give you 2.
Great, so once we meet with the planning board, then I can reach out to Katrina and tell them, and I'll keep you guys apprised.
Thank you.
Sound good?
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for taking the initiative.
We need more people like you, Kathy.
Come on up, Josh.
How are you, Josh? It's not good news that
3 ring binders.
Aaron.
Good to go.
Do you have access to information from other towns, Josh?
Contract wise?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of hard just because we're in betweener. Sometimes only 3,000 people, and then you have Keene, so kind of makes it a little hard to compare locally at least.
Well, you drafted a fine letter.
Yeah, there's a little frustration behind it, but
Well done.
thank you. I think it worked out pretty well, and so I'll show you the summary at the back end of it. So the first page is just a summary of the contracts we've had over the years. Unfortunately, they moved away from 5-year contracts, but the 3-year contracts we can renegotiate halfway through, so that gives us a little leeway with that. Then the second page is just some historical data to give you a rough idea on what we typically do year to year. And that's a 10-year overview of everything. So we go up, down, tonnages. It's kind of hit or miss whether we're going to get the same amount every year. Typically, our budget for solid waste is 1,050 tons and then 110 pulls. So that gives us six extra pulls a year just in case. And if you look back to 2020 where it skyrockets because of COVID, that was good use for that right there. Then on the,
So, in 2014, there were 88 hauls, and the average tonnage was just under 12
yep,
per container. And then this year, the past year was 106, but the average tonnage was under 10. Is it because the containers are getting smaller? We're not, what causes that change?
it's kind of all hit and miss. It all depends what people are throwing away, the kind of material that's going in there. One of the things Nick and I have been discussing is trying to offset the containers so we focus on just one, and try to avoid that on Friday and Saturdays. But if it gets real busy, we kind of have to open up that second one, and we have to ship it if it has stuff in it every 5 days regardless. So that's kind of been the hitch for that, but we're going to try and start offsetting, so maybe ship one on Tuesday and then leave it empty all the way until Friday and then offset it like that. So that should save us a couple containers a year at least and ensure we're getting the maximum time.
Why is it every 5 days? What is the reason behind that?
I guess they don't want pests, stuff like that, smell, odors, stuff that would affect the neighborhood around.
So if you're half full in 5 days, you take it.
Doesn't matter.
It goes.
Yeah, and then we do have a minimum with waste management where there has to be 4 tons, which is not hard to hit, but we have changed some stuff over the years. Like we do put mattresses and furniture into the compactors instead of into the wood bins now. So they take up a little more space, but we're not paying
Less weight.
Yeah, but then we're not paying the water weight in the compared to the wood bin where it's just soaking in the rain or snow. So shifted a couple of things that might have affected that a little bit and what people are buying really. So it's kind of an offshoot on what you're really getting over 1,000 tons. That's a challenge with that. But we're gonna start with doing the offsetting a container and see how that works, and that'll probably mainly be a late fall into early spring kind of thing. Summertime, I don't think we'll be able to avoid that just with volume, and we don't want to get it too stinky over there. And then same thing with wood bins, we're gonna focus on really getting weight in there.
Do you have a sense of what bumped the tonnage this year? 3 and 2?
We did a lot of clean out this year, just stuff that's been kicking around, leftover stuff from construction. So that was the majority of 23, 24 disposal rates. And then like for the C and D, that reflects with the covered bridge redecking, that majority of that one there. We saved roughly half of the boards to use around, do projects on and stuff like that, but we threw out probably at least a container full of just boards from the bridge, so it took up some weight and tonnage right there. And then if you look back through 2014 to 2017, that's when we were using a different vendor for disposal of sheetrock and shingles. And at the time they were cheaper, but looking at it now, it's not even close. So we can sort stuff out to clean wood, but then is it worth having an extra container for clean wood when we might do 2 containers a year for it? So Nick's actually going to be working on that part of it, just doing some research and seeing what else we can change with that. The ultimate goal is just to get as much out as we can, plastics, food waste, stuff like that.
What do you think's driving the bump in C and D?
Tonnage wise?
Yeah.
Doesn't seem like there's been a major.
267,
Yeah.
254.
No, I'm looking like it in 2014 it was, oh, I'm sorry, there's 2 lines there.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
others, I didn't
Got
want
it,
to
sorry.
mix in with waste management, but yeah, so like 2014 was 320 tons, so it dropped down quite a bit at least.
200.
220, yeah. So yeah, it was, pretty far.
Yeah, the next year was almost 300.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, sorry, I
Yeah,
just misread it.
He was gonna try to give you an answer, but before he did, I figured I'd say, I don't think that's an increase.
And then some years we'll have more roofs done, some years less. This time of year we're getting mainly bathrooms, interior walls, stuff like that, so. And water weight does play a factor into it, but not a whole lot, especially the past couple of years we haven't really had much snow in the winter time. And those typically we like to leave one container shut, that way we can focus and get that one container out as soon as it's full, so it's not sitting there gathering any water weight or excess material that shouldn't be in there, so get rid of it and get it while we can.
Is there anything we can do with the way that they're placed to create drainage? Or is the water weight just absorbed within the material?
Especially sheetrock absorbs. I do have holes drilled in, I don't know if I should have done, but there's a hole drilled into the bottom of the container, so it does drain out some. But winter time it kind of just freezes on it and you can't do much with it, so. And we could look into some container covers, but then we have to keep manually taking them off, or can't ship them like that with waste management, so it would make it a little difficult, but yeah, it's just constant.
How much space is that you would need? Like if you wanted to put a roof over the top of everything.
Like a
with
pole
those-
barn or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so what would that take? Like, how much space do you use?
It mainly just need to cover the containers. Which,
How many?
2 of them. We have a third one that I'm thinking about getting rid of to save the $45 rental fee for it. So really we would be focusing on 2 of them, but then it's going to be, I'm not sure the exact type, but it's going to be high enough when you get it like this. So it's,
It'd have to be almost like the salt bed,
wouldn't
not
it
as
be-
high as that,
yeah,
but
yeah.
something similar to that.
Yeah,
But if it's on a pad, they could roll it to,
yeah,
pull it
Why,
up a
why do
little
they
bit, pick
stand
it
it
up.
up?
yeah, that's true.
Why do they send it up?
Uh,
Do they dump that out or they take the whole thing?
They take the whole thing, but they chain it, and so then the roll-off truck has a rail system like this, and then it pulls
Goes
it
up that high?
dumps it down, and it's probably.
Well, I'm just thinking the
20
snow and the winter, and, I mean, oh, it'd be nice to just be undercover and
Yeah,
you don't
yeah,
have nothing going in there.
yeah,
I mean, one cost and then it saves us into a paper itself, 50 years,
mm.
but.
Yeah, and on the dock this year,
Remember how much the salt shed was?
100,000 roughly, something like that.
the only thing is we would need side access, at least to one side for the containers, for residents to be able to pull up and.
Let's say we were like that and they went in the middle, they could dump.
Yeah. I did have a rough layout for trying to change the tip walls around, that way we have the metal, wood all in the same area, and then if we wanted to separate something else out, we do have a spare container that we could put there for bulky plastics or food waste or whatever it might be. Because we do have a lot of room back there, so we can move stuff around fairly easily, but DS regulation, we do need a pad under those regardless, so I was trying to figure out how we could save the pads we already have and then kind of just build around that, maybe add one more, but that will probably be a good summer project this year, just to kind of reorganize a little bit and see where we can add some stuff and save some space too, and make it safer for people backing up, so it's not, especially the metal bin here, facing right towards the burn pit, so there's really not a whole lot of room with the brush there too right now, so. And that was
You're
also,
working on that.
yeah, got my permit today. Finally, yeah, finally, so good to go now.
Or in Skylab or whatever that they're gonna be seeing below.
Yeah. We're gonna be melting snow over there, that's for sure. But yeah, so we got some good game plans. Nick and I were discussing some stuff the other day, and along with the contract, some of the stuff that we're gonna do is lower some of the hauls per year. Food waste is gonna be a project that Nick's gonna start working on, getting a game plan, starting a pilot thing. Number 3 through 7 plastics is one that I'm going to tackle, so he's going to do that one. I'm going to do the plastics end of it. Rigid plastics, like play sets, which we don't get a whole lot of, but it adds up over time. And then review drop-off fees, and then ball field items. Because we don't go through their recycling anymore, just because it's brutal what's inside of there. I mean, we found diapers and condoms and nothing you want to deal with spitters. So it's one of those things where I got to talk that shit about. Is there something we can do to kind of help motivate them to recycle more and not add all that to the waste stream that's already pretty full as it is. So we got some stuff we're working on our end to try and at least eliminate what we're sending out and offset or maybe make money with 3 through 7 plastics, especially in food waste.
What's the game plan with food waste?
Nick's going to be researching vendors. Ideally, I'd like to make it a thing where we're just shipping it for now, because even then, anything under the 101 a ton is going to be saving us money at that rate. But future-wise, I'd like to start doing some on-site eggshells, vegetable scraps, stuff like that. But I want to see how this one would work and what we can do to subtract out of that waste stream after, so we'll slowly start to shrink that back too. So we're going to work on, hard to say how much is in there, but you can't compost like frozen pizzas and stuff like that, so it all depends.
Back it up for a sec. How would you possibly separate the eggshells and that stuff to compost? How would you go about that? How does that work? Do the people that bring it separate, and you tell people that's what you want, and then you...
We'll have a bin or something outside, signs, something to point in the right direction. And it's one of those things I'll never get everybody to do either, but...
Yeah, that's a tough call.
So
that's a tough situation.
It's going to be worth it, but it'll be a lot of work to get into it.
It's a lot of commitment.
Make sure it's done right the first time, that way we don't have to change it back, and we want to start, get it out there right, and then have it all start to flow, and then ideally have it grow a certain percentage every year.
You want to try and sell some of those compost bin things?
I was looking at those, they're just so damn expensive. I think they're like $70, because we can get them through, it's a grant program through New Hampshire's Beautiful, and
The more people that take them, the less
yeah,
comes into your dumpsters.
yeah.
What, give them away?
Or just have a really good deal on them.
Yeah. I was just trying to
Try to get the people to take them home.
Yeah, so then it eliminates it all together, and it's dealt with at home, and bringing it to us, and then us shipping it somewhere else, so.
Can you go back to the plastic thing about what were you going to look into the plastics is? Because you were teaching me a little about that when I was there, different types of plastic and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
What would you do with that as far as that? What do you want to look into? How do you make that
So
better?
plastics is a unique one because you can separate it out so much. Right now we're doing just number 1 plastic and then number 2 plastic.
Explain again, number 1, number 2.
So the
Read it
number
so we
one's
can read it.
the little triangle on the bottom.
Yeah.
They're typically almost all water bottles are typically number 1s.
Yeah.
Milk jugs are always going to be number 2s,
I got it.
clear, or colored. Detergents are always number 2s typically.
Dasani bottles.
Dasani bottles.
You get more money for
You take
this,
them now, right?
Yeah.
more money for this than number 2?
It goes back and forth. At one point those were more.
This is what.
And then number 2 will go way up. It all falls away market. So say like a number 1 Listerine mouthwash, the white ones. That's number 1, but we can't accept that as a number 1 because it's contaminated. Because it's already got coloring in it, so it's not a clear see-through container. So the market that I was researching is 1 through 7, but we're going to not put our 1 and 2s in there because we'll lose money that way. But if, like say, the contaminated number 1, we can put that in with the 3 through 7s. So then we're capturing all the plastics instead of just 1 and 2s.
Yeah.
A lot of yogurt containers out there.
Yep, and number 5s, yeah. The orange juice, those are number 7s typically. And I mean, one of the things down the road trying to organize and with a horizontal baler is say like the number 2 water jugs that are semi-opaque compared to like a hood milk that's all white. The pricing in those 2, if we were to separate just those 2 out, is drastically different. I think it was up to 70 cents a pound right now for the natural color, compared to if you mix the 2
And right now, we don't separate them.
No.
We don't have the manpower.
We could
Time.
put balers and then
Balers.
then you need another space to store 35 bales of it. So over time, it will kind of see
Okay.
how we can really start separating stuff out. Because that's one of those things where the market changes and you don't want to jump on stuff. Because at one point we were doing magazines because that was making money, and then next year it wasn't. So it was almost detrimental to save those. So we kind of just have mixed paper and newspaper now to hit the 2 higher markets at least. And we could separate out office paper from mixed paper, and that's high dollar value. So you can really break stuff down quite a bit and make more money, but then
Another $500,000 bond to extend the building,
Yeah.
put more doors in.
2 stories.
2 stories.
Yeah.
But you really could take it to a whole nother level.
Sure.
Just
Yeah.
recycling thing.
Yeah, and it's really endless what you can sort out, what you reuse.
How are we compared to other towns as far as, how far do we go? Would you say, are we pretty,
We put a lot of work into it.
it seems that way.
I don't want to name towns, but I know there is a town that will bale their material and then put it into the dumpster because they just don't have the space to store it. So they're basically
Wow.
shoving $200 bales into the compactor and paying $50 for it compared to making $200.
Wow.
Some places don't separate out paper at all, so it's just mixed papers, everything. Nick and I did a tour of Water, New Hampshire last year, kind of helped them with their layout. It was part of the NRA group and went around and kind of helped out, saw the big change, and they were doing, they had a horizontal baler, but they were pushing out 700-pound aluminum bales, and we're only pushing out 300. So everybody's got the same goal, but people do it differently, or how much they separate, how little. Some places even do the clear wrap, like for pellets, like when they clear wrap them all, that's a recycled plastic, but then you need 10,000 pounds of it to
We
ship.
can't do the pellet bags.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
yeah. So it's one of those things where it also boils down to the manufacturer, what they make their product out of, what they end of life for it. So there's just a whole lot that goes into it, and trying to pick the best one with the, I wouldn't say least amount of labor, but meaningful labor going towards it, and then trying to at least offset prices or make some good revenue off it. Right now, I'm kind of holding off. We've almost got a full trailer load of baled aluminum right now. And if you ship a full trailer, a town up north shipped, and it was 18,000 pounds, so they have big balers, so they're making denser material, but they shipped it out and they got 75 cents a pound. I think they got 14 grand back for it.
And what, you hold out and you watch the price? and-
Yeah. Yep. So then, like fall time, I think it was 50 cents a pound we shipped it at, and now it's jumped to 75 cents if you fill out the trailer. You could do half loads and get lower pricing if you need room, but that's where the shipping containers have been great because we can overstore at this point, do 110%, and then make sure that we get every last pound onto it.
Right.
Same thing with cardboard. That one's kind of the basic one. You don't really have to separate that out anymore, but we filled that up, and typically we do 42,000 pounds, and I think the last one was $1,500 we got back. So, which is low. It was.
What period of time?
Cardboard we do probably 10 loads a year.
10 loads a year?
Yep. So, and then aluminum's twice a year. I think we got 10 grand back last year for our load. So this year I'm hoping to hit 12, if not more, if we can really fill it out.
Nice.
One of those things where the longer you sit on it, it could hurt or help you. So, played the gamble with the number 2 last year, and we were able to get a little extra money out of it because we did the full load and held on to it for so long. So that worked out really good.
Do you put it outside when you're holding out, like, and waiting? Where do you put this? To where do you hold it? Just leave it up to the side? Or?
Depends what we have stocked.
You have the
up
room
on.
over there?
Yeah, because we have the 4 storage containers, and those are dedicated for mixed paper, newspaper, cardboard, and number 1 plastic. And so right now I think we have 5 bales of number 1 plastic out back. Just waiting to see what the next one's pricing is going to be, whether to order it now or hold off another couple month or 2. Because anything baled and processed like that doesn't count towards our daily ton limit. 250 tons average over the year. So any of that material doesn't count towards that. So we could stock 2 loads if we wanted to. But then you gotta hope you don't get screwed over and get a low pricing when it comes to that time. So a lot to it.
Yeah, it's
None of the bad ones?
It's pretty good news.
Must have been an adjustment then.
Yeah, it was a pretty good one. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So then on that page shows the first proposal on the top section for MSW, and then the right side is the proposal that he sent, and then the same thing below is the first proposal for C&D, and then the second proposal. So like C&D went from 17.8% increase on disposal to 8.9, and then 4% every year after that. And then haul increase was 12% down to 7%, 4% increase after that.
Nice.
So I think we got a pretty good deal on that. He said my counter offer didn't come close to just because they renegotiated with Keene. And he said that they went out to RFP, so they really had to put their best foot they could down. So the numbers that I was asking for was cheaper than what they were getting rid of it for. So there's still an increase, but I think we can make it work along with doing some of our curves and stuff that I think it's not going to affect us at all. And this year I actually budgeted for 106 a ton for the new contract, just trying to give my best guess on it. We're at 107, so this year's budget should fall right in line with what I was estimating. And especially if we can take a couple containers out of there. So.
How about on C&D? What did you budget for that?
That was right about on. Yep. And so over the 3-year contracts, the difference between the first proposal and the second proposal with C&D and MSW was a difference of $25,774. So we got a pretty good chunk off. And then below the proposal summary is just kind of how I budgeted for MSW and C&D. Contract goes from January 1st to July 31st, and then August 1st to December 31st. So I kind of break the year up for expect this amount of tons for, so say MSW's higher from January to July because people are starting to do their clean outs and springtime stuff, all that stuff, but then it's lower for C&D because then come July, people are finishing up their outside projects. We're getting higher volume of C&D later in the year. So that kind of just ensures that the pricing is right and what I budgeted for is following throughout the year. And then that's tracked throughout the year on the budget tracker. And then below that's just an example from the NRA about local towns where you can't really base it off that because 3,600 population, that's half, not more, but so their cost per ton's 141, 121, so we're going to be starting this new one at 107, so I think we got a pretty good deal out of it.
Those are real other towns and their prices, they just didn't put the names, or are those
Yeah.
examples? Yeah,
Yeah.
they're real.
Yeah, just because they didn't want to lose contract-wise and any of that stuff, so.
On these boxes here, it says 1/1/23 and,
I just didn't.
okay,
Yeah.
so it's supposed to be 25.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
gotcha. That's what I figured, but I didn't know if you were using it that year as an example or something, so okay.
No, that's one of those things where I just have the
You
same
use the
thing
last
like
one.
over and over again.
We've all done it.
Yeah. Yeah, and then on the back side of that's the revised proposal.
So you feel that it's adequate, that we don't need to do an RFP?
No, I think we got a pretty good deal out of this, and because we went out for an RFP in 2017, and we only got one offer back from the NRA, and nobody else even bothered touching it, and their pricing was far higher than our current contract for what's moving at the time, so.
Do you know who else bid on Keene's?
That I'm not sure of. I'd assume probably Casella.
Casella's that big? That they can trade?
Yeah, I think they're trying to slowly come into this area because they're in Brattleboro now.
That's all I use.
Yep. So who knows, 3 years we could have a Casella in town and that would really make stuff worth it. But yeah, and I think that's just the importance of trying to get these other materials out and really build up our recycling program the best we can and keep working on it. There's no end to it, so there's always going to be new materials coming out and new ways to do stuff, different technologies, new recycling plants around, so it's always evolving and getting better.
So when would this contract start? Is it August 1st or July 1st?
August 1st, so the 107 time won't kick in until then, and that's exactly what I budgeted for, so it should work out pretty good. And then hopefully by the end of this year, I'll have a better grasp on what we can take out and estimate how much we can take out for next year. So the rates might be a little higher, but we might be disposing of less and make a little bit more revenue. So we're going to try and keep a set program where we're increasing each year to try and achieve a higher diversion rate. And I think we ended up with 27% offsetting costs last year, and the diversion was 34%, I believe. So I want to shoot to get up to at least 37, 40. It's going to be our goal for this year and next year, so I don't think we should have a problem with it either.
When are you planning on getting a horizontal baler? Is that in your program, the capital improvement, or?
Yeah, it got bumped this year, which kind of worked out better because it's going to be a lot of shifting stuff around, and I think it's going to be easier having the new waste oil building, replacing the one we have, and then the 3 bay systems. So then we can focus on waste oil in 2 of the bays, one where it's full, one where everything's empty, and so it'll also look better DES-wise. And then the 3rd bay is going to be all universal waste, like light bulbs, mercury-containing products, stuff like that. So it's just all out there, and we can ship it right from that building. So that'll open up half the warehouse, and because how I picture it is put it on the back side of the wall where the balers are right now, and just have a conveyor where it'll drop it, and it basically just bales, and it'll kick it out once it's full, and then you just start switching over to different type of plastic if you want to, and then you just constantly running it. So, and then that'll dedicate the other 3 balers to number 1, number 2, and cardboard. So that'll open up a little more space for us to be able to ship stuff around and recycle a different material or separate it out from the same material just to get better pricing. generate more revenue for it.
So you're thinking a couple years or 3 years?
Maybe 2, 3, might be the best
How
way to go.
expensive are they? Where they go from?
It's anywhere from 75 to 150, it all depends.
Really?
They go up to 250, but
Really?
that's like auto tie, it's got a scale right on it, bells and whistles, we don't need something like this. More stuff to break in my opinion, so keep it simple and it's got a simple job to do, so I don't see complicating it, helping us.
More things to break.
Mm-hmm.
And then the scale house.
Yep, and that would work hand in hand with C&D and ensuring that we're pricing stuff out properly, that we're not overcharging or undercharging, and then we could see water weights or have something over it by that time, so then it would be a clean and clear wash. So I have talked to Charlie and John about just making sure they're charging enough, obviously not overcharging, but following the drop-off fee list, so that will ensure that at least we're getting our end of it right. And then whatever else we can, if people can reuse stuff, or, cause that's why we kind of leave some of the stuff off to the side. No sense in throwing out a new dresser if somebody's gonna come take it 20 minutes later, so. Little things we'll tweak along the way and just try and get whatever we can out of it.
How close is the revenue to the expense on the C&D?
I think it was about half, to be honest, last year. But then we had some stuff cleaned out with the bridge, so it's really hard to, even if the bridge boards came through and we had a scale, we could see exactly how much weight was going in. So it's kind of hard to estimate, and then everything else has been pretty spot on. Right now we're 15, 20 bucks over on our electronics, so we're right at where we should be with that. The mattress increase went from $10 to $20, and we definitely needed to do that, and that's been working out good. I think we're spot on with that pricing. And that's one of those things where it's all consistent. It's a mattress, so you don't have to eyeball 20, 25, 30 bucks, so it's always going to be 20. And then other items like washer dryers, we do $5 for, and we're starting to rip out the motors in that, so then instead of just getting the flat scrap, we're getting the copper bearing motors out of it, so we're getting a higher price on that end, and it's all time and how much you can make off it. Some years it's not worth it, some years it is, so it all depends on the markets.
The scale, we're talking about a big scale where you drive up on and then you drive off and then you weigh it, unload it, and then put the truck back up on there and you know your weight.
Mm-hmm.
Is that how it works?
Yeah.
And that's what you would like to have over there?
Yeah.
What else would you use that for other than C&D, and what else would you weigh? Everything? Like what other options could you use that for?
We could ensure when, say, a cardboard trailer is leaving, that it is the weight that we weighted at, so we can ensure that he's not overweight leaving and we're not getting screwed over on pricing, which I've never seen, but I don't trust people that much. I just double check everything.
Is that a major cost too, the scale?
Yeah, I think I priced that out in 2018, it was like 80 something grand.
Jesus Christ.
So nothing's cheap, yeah.
Then the other factor is you need to be certified as a weight master.
Annually, and then depending on
What
which
is
one.
that? You have to be certified to use it?
Yes, I don't know if it's actually called, what is it, Weighmaster, weights and measures, or there's some
Something like that, yeah.
licensure that you appropriately know how to operate it.
Yeah, and then depending on which one you get, it might be a combined space thing, so you have to hire a special company to come calibrate it. Because you can get ones that are above ground, just bare bones, basic ones, so.
You can see why we haven't done it yet, there's a lot to
Yeah,
it.
yeah. And
Seems
then you
like-
have to have space for the 60-foot long scale. It's a lot of shuffling and.
There's a lot of growing room in this department, I see.
Yeah.
It's almost scary.
Yeah.
There's a long way we can go with this.
Yeah, yeah, and might not be worth it for some things, that's the thing.
Yeah, we're gonna have to
Cost.
weigh it out.
Yeah, because then you need another person at the scale house, so that's another.
Right, you gotta wait, you gotta figure all that in.
That's what I've been trying to.
Kathy?
Turn up the heat a little bit. Kathy, thank you again.
Yeah, yep.
Turn it right up to 80.
Oh, please.
70?
70.
Yeah, 70, 71, yeah. Perfect, thank you.
Thanks, good night.
See you guys.
So that's why I'd rather focus on getting the eyeball scale that we've been using as accurate as we can. It's like some years we'll get 6 hot tubs and those vary in weights depending on size, but you can't, if it was a scale, we could say 10 cents a pound or whatever, and we'll get an exact
You
weight.
guess.
Yeah. So right now I have it level at 125, 130 I believe, for a hot tub. So it covers it, but some come in waterlogged and you can't really sit on it for too long because then it just piles up. And then some years we get none of them. So it's one of those hit or miss. You never know what's coming in or who's got what projects at home. So that's another big driving factor. Good economy, more renovations, more new stuff. So it's all ups and downs.
To this, so I spent more time over there. I thought I knew everything about it one day. He took me on a tour, and I said, "Oh, I got this."
Yeah.
Hey, don't go in
Now
on
we-
Sly's turf, you're not.
Yeah.
You poke
Got
around
Joe
over
and
there?
Joe. I got
Wow.
Josh.
Stay in your lane.
But there's a, oh yeah, that's right. But there's a long way you can go with this. I mean, it's pretty cool,
Mm.
A lot to it.
you know?
Yeah.
Good for you, John. Do a good job at what you do.
That's why they're waste engineers.
Yeah, exactly. Waste artists.
Startist.
So.
Engineer gets you higher pay.
Yeah,
I'm a
exactly.
mixologist. My bartender is called a mixologist.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess my recommendation is going to be to go with the second proposal, and he said he'd draft up a contract after that.
So we'd be looking for a motion to authorize the solid waste manager to enter into a 3-year contract with Waste Management as outlined in the revised offer.
I'll make that motion.
How do you type in?
Second.
Motion made and second. Any
No, I
further
didn't.
discussion? If not, all in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
I didn't know he was gonna work that kind of magic
Good job.
over the last 2 days.
Yeah.
What?
That's a
No,
lot.
she was saying, I don't see the motion, I said, I didn't know he was gonna work that kind of magic over the
So
last
you're
2
good for
days.
3 years now, huh? With
Yep.
this contract, and we're done.
If we see something we need to change or to do, they're
Authorize.
good about
Yeah.
switching stuff with
Solid
us.
waste manager.
Yeah, if you want to keep her on.
I'm gonna keep, I'm gonna read this over and
3 years.
even though Sly's a waste guy, so I'll look it over.
Waste management.
Yeah.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you.
Thank
Have a
you,
good
Josh.
one.
Good job.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Consideration of new business, North Swanzey, City of Keene, wastewater treatment, capital expenditure, authorization. Josh needs to be here for this.
He does not.
I'll make the motion that we
Pay the bill.
pay the bill.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any further on that? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The ayes have it. March meeting schedule. What works for you?
I'm unavailable. These dates work fine for me. The other item for consideration is Alex had put in here, his little thing on page 20 about a possible workshop to consider.
A government workshop with new boards and a workshop. Oh, that's not for me.
I can let them talk about it.
Any way we
Talk
can
amongst
just,
yourselves.
what about if we make March 5th, March 4th? Early, and then we have the meeting afterwards, the candidates.
We don't know who the,
Right.
Oh, you're talking about something, you're not talking about what he's talking about. You're saying instead of meeting on the 5th, meet just the normal meeting on the 4th.
Correct.
He's saying he's not on the workshop, he's talking about just your
Oh, I'm
meeting that
sorry,
week.
Go
what
back
time,
to what
what
Bill
time
said.
does the 4th begin?
6, I think it's about
March, you
6
know?
to 8.
6 to 8, yeah.
6 to 8. can meet at 5 or 5:30, quick
I don't think
meeting.
you want to do 5:30, because people, if you're down here, people are gonna be streaming upstairs if it's anything like last year, so you're gonna want, I'd say 4:30 probably. Alex would be here that day, so that would work
It's
better
the
for
same,
that
it's 2
regard.
nights, you can eliminate one night, get it all done in one night, right? Because we're gonna do that upstairs,
That
so
upstairs.
we can run down here.
Yeah, it's a good idea, I didn't think of that.
It's just a suggestion, Mike.
Let's give it to him. It's the blind squirrel thing.
Going like a blind squirrel,
Yeah.
but I can smell a nut.
That's exactly
Is that your
it.
Concord day though?
Yeah, but don't worry about me.
Are you, oh, you're in Concord.
Yeah, I'll be back though.
Oh, you will?
Well,
So
hopefully.
it'll be a few minutes late.
Yeah.
So that week we'll meet 3, 4 at.
4:30.
4:30.
That'll be
Okay.
Alex's first meeting.
Yeah, so that part will work out well too,
Be there Mondays and Tuesdays.
right?
Good
Kinda
move,
like your
Michael.
schedule.
That's right, good move.
Okay. Now on 311, we know that, right? And then what do we do after that? 319,
What he's proposing is an opportunity to meet with him so that he can review policies and the role that selectmen play. You know, what the role,
Who's he,
Alex.
oh, Alex.
Yep, he does that, and it's part of his program. It's part of his consulting contract with us, so the question is, when would you want to do it?
Oh,
Page 20.
The week of the 17th to the 24th.
Yep. So we could do it the 19th or the 26th.
I think we should do it as soon as the better, right? The 19th would make sense.
Of course, Alex is here Monday and Tuesday. So if we wanted to switch your meetings to Tuesday night.
I think he was thinking do that as a standalone, like maybe on the Tuesday, do it as like, all right, we're gonna meet at Tuesday at 4 o'clock, just for
It'll be the
that.
new selectman, me, Billy, and him.
Yeah.
I got you.
And Megan,
2.5 hours over lunch on Monday or Tuesday.
I think that's what.
Can you get the Dublin room set up for that? Will that meet your,
So that would be,
I think I can see the 18th, the only question would be, we could always postpone it. If there's a recount,
oh,
then we could postpone it.
It sounds like he's gonna have this anyway for League of Cities and Towns, so you should be able to just pull it out and do it whatever day you need it.
You want to schedule it for the 18th?
yeah.
All right, we'll do it on the 18th.
what time?
That's a Tuesday. We can do it in the afternoon if you're available, if you want to do it in the afternoon. Is that something we would do here, or go to the town hall?
Here.
We'll do it right here. Okay, so we meet you, the new selectman,
And lunch.
and Alex, and Megan,
Yeah.
right here. Want to say?
Sounds like if you throw lunch in, Slide will
And
come too.
lunch.
1, 2,
Yeah,
Actually, it's St. Patty's, so you're gonna have to have
2
corned beef
o'clock?
and cabbage.
2 o'clock?
Corned beef and cabbage,
oh, right, I gotta be careful.
and green beer.
It's the 17th, oh, but I'm not gonna do it, I'm gonna do it,
No, I mean here for lunch.
oh, my leftover corned beef, because I'm gonna do it
Leftover.
Friday, Saturday. All right, so we'll do
It's
that.
the 18th at 2 o'clock.
Here.
2 o'clock Tuesday on the 18th with Alex and us. And then we'll have a meeting the next night, a regular board meeting, which Alex is not going to attend now. And
You can,
You could be available on
Yeah.
Zoom.
yeah.
oh, he can be on Zoom with us.
Unless you change to Tuesdays.
And then Billy will be the chair of that meeting.
Find out.
You never know.
You might make a power play.
Is he gonna get the packet out by Friday? Or the following week?
What's that?
Is Alex gonna get the packet out by Friday?
Probably not, since he's working Monday and Tuesday.
No, we're gonna,
The new town administrator has to give you the packet for the weekend.
Sounds like he was gonna be out earlier than Michael. It sounded like he was
I
gonna.
think he's on
Yeah,
the
you
ball.
saw when the
Michael,
agenda
right.
got up when he was helping.
Last
right?
minute, Michael is gonna be gone, I guess.
Yeah.
You're gonna have so much time to review all this information.
Mike, did you send it yet?
What
Did
night
you
does
send it
Wyndham
yet?
meet?
Monday.
Oh,
what's that?
Monday in Wyndham. He's gotta get the packet out Thursday probably.
We'll see how that works out.
All right, so-
Yeah.
That's what they think.
I see Monday afternoon. Check
Oh,
your
yeah.
email.
I see a quick resolution to our,
And
The boomerang.
what do you think about moving the time up on our meetings that we discussed earlier too? When we start new, to 5. Remember you wanted to get home a little earlier and,
yeah, that's fine.
I mean, we can talk to the new selectmen and we can change
Except
hours.
public hearings happening.
Yeah,
Six.
see, it's in your
6 or
guidelines, so you have to go.
All right, so I'll move it up a half an hour?
Well,
Yeah.
when you have a public hearing, try and do it at 6 or so, to give people a chance to come.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So you might start at 5, you might be sitting here twiddling your thumbs for a half hour waiting for the public hearing.
And to change it.
Well, I was just doing it for Bill's fit, because I know sometimes he likes to get home earlier and he likes to ask a lot of questions, so.
And you should take it on the road.
We will.
East Swanzey Community House, airport,
Well, we'll try.
terminal,
It's up to vote.
Coon Club.
Jimmy's Restaurant will be the best one.
Wrong town.
Well, the conflict there.
We just changed the board, so.
Now getting back to his question about.
We don't want
the
that
March meeting.
Just the restaurant part.
Are you meeting every, well, you're not
I think we should either be.
All right,
So we got,
Yeah, I think we got it. So
we
yeah.
got the 4.
3/4 at 4:30, 3/11 at 7 at the school, 3/18 at 2 for the training, 3/19 regular meeting at 5:30, 3/26 regular meeting at 5:30. Consideration of potential larger changes.
So what's
after.
gonna be your role on the 11th?
What do you mean?
You gonna be there?
Which shift do you want?
No, we were told, can we do that?
Yeah, there's no more taking pictures, so they have to show a photo ID. There's no more affidavits or,
Yeah.
I think the state still wants you there though.
oh yeah, but
we don't have to take the picture if somebody don't have their license?
I don't believe so. You got
No,
a
no,
number, so
they can't
photo
vote.
ID.
They can't vote.
You can't vote, you need your license.
Well, a picture ID.
I think personally known.
Wow.
Personally known to us or the thing, right?
I don't think we have to be there all day long.
No, it's the, what was it, the Secretary of State or the AG's office, which one?
I believe the Secretary of State, they claim all selectmen are supposed to be there already. Does any town do that? I don't know.
Well, they checked on us the last election.
Were you all there? You were all there?
We stayed.
We had somebody in the restroom, but we were there.
That was a happy coincidence.
It was perfect timing.
So, again, are you gonna be there with us all day?
Probably not all day, but
That's a Concord Day, isn't it?
no,
I don't know.
we banked off because some of us have town meetings.
Some of you have towns.
When is it
We
open?
could do it at the 8 o'clock, I guess.
8 in the morning to
So
7.
Wyndham's 7 to 8.
Maybe do 8 to noon or
we
something.
might want to think about 7
We're gonna
o'clock.
freeze.
They,
In the
they had an
morning.
article to change it to 7 to
Bring it
7,
down.
and they got a bunch of blowback.
Wait for your last year.
Yeah, I don't think we need
I
to
thought
go
it was
beyond
eleven,
7, but we might want to start at 7.
Donuts.
Because the only time to get backed up is at the beginning, right?
Yeah. Well, with the new layout, the only time is at the beginning.
Cleared up quite well.
Yeah, yeah. And we got 4,000 people through pretty easily.
I can take the morning if you want.
Yeah, but we're not gonna do 4,000 people this election. We'll do what?
2,000,
2? Huh?
1,200.
Yeah,
Hopefully.
that's what we did last time. I think last year it was 1,200 or 1,400 or whatever.
It was a beautiful day last year.
The wind.
It was windy, but not like snow like 2 years ago.
Well, yeah. 2
There
years
better
ago.
not be more people than you got. That'd be a blow to your ego.
It'll be a big one this year.
He's telling his people to stay home.
Yeah, he's telling his people to stay home, 600 tops.
No, we need them on the water. We need them on the water.
We need them on the wall. The more
Any old
voters, the
business?
better.
So I had a couple of things. Did you get my voicemail?
I called you back, yes.
You did?
At like 5:25, to say I got it, and we talked about it, but yes.
Okay, because we should talk about that now.
Yeah, I got it, not on,
Okay.
non-public.
Oh, okay.
But 2 nominations, which you've already signed, they're renominating Stephen Biddle to the Capital Improvement Program Committee and J.R. Coughlin to the Economic Development Advisory Committee.
Motion, Steve Biddle.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion for
J.R. Coughlin.
J.R. Cochran.
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Any other old business?
We had a site meeting at, speaking of the wall, Weber Hill,
2/3 wall.
2/3 wall, coming along pretty well. Hopefully by building day, it'll be pretty well, the wall part at least constructed, so
Nice.
getting some good momentum. We got some nice weather coming up, so that'll be in good shape. Just,
Michael, is the wall, when I saw that picture, is the wall all the way to the top yet?
no,
It's still going higher than that?
yeah. About,
That picture you showed me is like the center of it,
yeah, it's about 20 feet, I'd say now.
20 feet.
Yeah, you saw Ben was about like a third of the way up, so it's about 20 feet.
Everything all right with those bags of destruction?
For the most part.
Good. And it'll start growing next year, right? Do we water it?
You will.
It's not a drought.
Miracle grow.
Did you guys see the new wall?
I went by today, or yesterday.
So you know it's gonna grow, right?
Yes.
It's gonna turn green.
I came to the meetings, yes.
Yeah, waiting 1 minute.
We need to
Got
water.
Anything else, old business?
Nothing else for
No.
us.
Public input, one last bite of the apple. Yes, Mark?
Yeah, I'd just like to bring up a scenario that kind of played out on Thursday at the planning board meeting. And I don't want to talk about the litigation or the person, or the customer as much as the scenario. So, in the case where there's a litigation and, somebody is named, everybody who voted against them in the town, and now they have something coming in front of a board or a committee, it puts those committees or those boards in an awkward position. It actually ties their hands, because now you have people who are named recusing themselves, and even if you're not named, there's a threat, oh, am I going to be added to this litigation, right? So it leaves only the people that, the person felt were supportive of them to vote. And I think that's a horrible scenario that played out and can potentially play out over and over again. And, I think in that scenario, maybe we need to have, town council there, or maybe we need to be advised for it, or maybe, I don't know, if people, if they start accusing themselves, you might not even be able to have enough to vote. And then what happens, okay? Is that another lawsuit? So, it's something to think about going forward, because, this is real life. This is played out. I don't think it would have changed the vote or anything like that.
Wasn't it one person that excused himself that night?
One person recused, but if the chair decided to seat somebody else, that person would probably recuse themselves too. So, I think there's...
Well, the one alternate that shows up would have accused herself.
So,
She was named.
there's, I don't know. I've looked at some
What
of
is the
those-
answer to that?
I don't know the answer to it.
Yeah, I've searched the RSA's too, and I just can't find it.
But
Yeah, but
there's probably
Are you
15
saying
people
if,
named in that
if
lawsuit.
you say that 3 or 4 people excused themselves that night, there wouldn't have been a vote?
No, because you don't have a quorum.
We wouldn't have been able to vote?
And then that would he come back and wanna take us to court again because we wouldn't vote?
That's a good point.
Yeah.
What made you think of that afterwards? You have to-
Probably just don't want to get into a discussion, just receive public input and then.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, so, you know, I just want to point that out, because this litigation might be out there a year from now. You know, who knows? It probably will be, you know, whether it's warranted or not, you know. And there's people named, you know, on this board, on that board, on all 3 boards in town, as well as people with other roles. So it's not a fair situation. The board, it ties the board's hands from doing their job. So.
Something to think about, thank you. Anything else? Hearing none, we have a non-public, I believe, under,
I'll make a motion for non-public and they
Me too.
So,